Science assistant task: decomposition. Chemical reaction, which is the process that involves the rearrangement of reactants and as well as stay converted as a substance. They could be a chemical compound or an element. The chemical reaction does get changed in different orders the constituent atom of the chemical reaction, so you can create a different substance such as a product. A reactant is the first thing in a reaction or a starting substance or material which is in a chemical reaction response. When the reaction is going through the chemical reaction, it is undertaking a chemical change and the chemical links and bonds are broken and split apart, then formed to make products. A product is a substance that is formed as a conclusion of a type of chemical reaction. The way that a product is formed is when the reactants do interact with each other and the substances in a chemical reaction, a product is formed. A decomposition reaction, this type of reaction is a chemical reaction in which the individual compound breaks down a compound into smaller compounds or elements. These reactions normally often do contain an involvement of natural energy like forms such as light, heat, and of course electricity to be able to break down the compounds. The carbonic acid does dissolve. This allows carbonic acid to be added into beverages such as soft drinks. When you open the beverage container, this does contain hydrogen and as well as carbonated in soft drink or beverages. Quickly, because it becomes so that it forms carbonic acid that is then decomposed into carbon dioxide and as well as water. Fizziness of carbonated beverages. That carbonic acid does make any type of soft drinks enjoyable. Many of the carbonated drinks does often contain some type of acid. The importance of carbonic acid in soft drinks to society is that it made beverages taste better. This allowed soft drinks to be worldwide. This allowed people to find opportunities for jobs. The effects of carbon dioxide on the atmosphere, which is called decomposition of carbonic acid, is very significant so much because carbon dioxide stays in the atmosphere because carbon dioxide CO2 is really important substance gas which methane thus controls the Earth's temperature. Carbon dioxide methane is a greenhouse gas that takes a large amount of energy, including the type of energy called infrared, released produced by the Earth, and then take it back in by the Earth. The effects of carbon dioxide on the hydrosphere is that the higher layers of the ocean hydrosphere that holds a very massive quantity of the broken down dissolved naturally produced carbon dioxide, and as well as the lower the ocean and the waters are rich in dissolved inorganic carbon dioxide, CO2. This dissolved naturally produced carbon dioxide, CO2, on the outer layers, which is a really fast exchange of gas to the atmosphere. This is because they are always constantly connected with the atmosphere and the hydrosphere. The circulation which goes through on the importance of the mixing of the ocean and waters or the hydrosphere, this allows the exchange from the higher and lower layer. Carbon dioxide has a decrease in all living things, and the organisms that does contain organic living things, organisms that does gain carbon dioxide by taking or extracting carbon dioxide from the atmosphere through a process called photosynthesis. That way is that they consume types of organisms, so then they receive the carbon dioxide they had. Carbon dioxide in the soil, which is called lithosphere. The carbon dioxide is widely spread in the soil in such a form of both naturally produced and not naturally produced carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide leaves the soil through a soil process called soil respiration. This releases carbon dioxide, or it could be erosion that moves it into the ocean or river when it enters the hydrosphere. In Earth's crust, which is the second layer in the Earth, there is a massive quantity of carbon dioxide that is stored and kept in the caverns and limestone. The natural matter that is held in a rock called sediment rock. This naturally grown organic is made up of decomposed and as well as extremely crushed or compressed living matter. Raising temperatures in our Earth is affecting the climate as well. This affects the environment and the function of the Earth. One of the most important functions is the nutrient replacement. The climate change places the nutrient cycle at risk, which affects the soil fertility. Some type of the effects is only important being perversity and biodiversity, and as well as habitats, and the critical of agriculture, and as well as the food security. The effects of carbonic acid on our teeth is destroying our teeth because our teeth is made of calcium. The two ways that our teeth is getting damaged is erosion and as well as decay. Decay of our teeth does occur when microorganisms start to feed off a leftover sugar when you are done drinking your soft drink. The bacterial method is that when it releases a lactic acid and as well as the lactic acid dissolves the calcium. Are the reactants and products for carbonic acid? The products for carbonic acid in soft drink are carbon dioxide and water, and for the reactants is carbonic acid. The word equation is carbonic acid, which is solution breaks down carbon dioxide, which is a gas, plus water, which is liquid. The chemical formula is H2O COS, which is solution, which is a reactant, breaks down into CO2, which is a gas, plus H2O, which is liquid, which is the products. Carbonic acid in a soft drink is a compound. Its chemical symbol is H2CO3. This is formed when a chemical reaction is happening in water and as well as carbon dioxide. When it decomposes, it produces this as a product. This reaction is called decomposition. It isn't the only type of chemical reaction that carbonic acid undertakes in a chemical reaction. Carbonic acid can act like an acid and it can be able to break down in positive. The starting point of carbonic acid is H2CO3. The arrangement of atoms is that H2CO3 is broken down as in hydrogen H2 and 1 oxygen O joined together to form H2O and carbon C and 2 oxygen O2 to join to form CO2. These substances are called water and carbon dioxide.